Hello again. Time to keep going in our design for our slippers. Great big, thick, chunky slippers, nice and warm. And so far we have made a little triangle. And the triangle is what is at the back of your slipper right there. So now my triangle looks the same as that one. So I'm doing good so far. Now I'm ready for the next color. And what I did at the end of the last video is I tied on the, I cut the other color that I was using, the second color, not the blue. I kept the blue going. The teal is just staying fine like itself. And I cut the beige, and now I've tied on the gray to the beige. And then I just leave those little short ends there. And later on, when I finish my slippers, I'll go back in and untie that little knot that I made, and I'll weave in the ends. Now in the pattern, what I've done so far is the, oh, and here's the pattern, just in case you don't know. It's Bernat Super Value Men's and Ladies Slippers to Knit. It's a free pattern on the Bernat Yarn website, www.bernat.com. And I'm using this teal yarn as my main color, and I'm using scraps for my second color. Alright, and they're worsted weight yarn, so any kind of worsted weight yarns you've got will work. So far in the pattern, oh, and we're using 2 strands held together throughout. So far we've finished all the way down to where we have 8 stitches down here. The first row, second row, third and fourth, fifth row, and we did the third through the fifth row 4 times more. Now we're ready for up here where it says next 2 rows, cast on 10 stitches and knit to the end of the row. So that means you have to cast on 10 extra stitches at the beginning of each of the next 2 rows. So here's the first row where we're casting on 10 stitches at the beginning of the row. And a lot of people get confused about how to do this, so I'm going to show you 2 different ways. One way is the easiest way, and that would be real good for a beginning knitter, and that would be just to flip the project over to your right hand and then get the yarn here and do one of those simple little thumb cast on like this. You know, and you could cast on 10 stitches that way. Just make sure not to do it too tight and not too loose either. Make it so that the stitches sit real neat, nice and neat beside each other like that. Now this cast on is okay. It's not the best cast on though at the beginning of a row, but that is one way you can do it. And then, oh, let me show you what you do if you did that. If you did cast on some of these like that, then you would flip it back over to the left hand and you'd just start knitting like that when it's time for the next row. So, but I'm going to show you the way I prefer to cast on at the beginning of a row. And this is called a knitted cast on. So for this, you put the needle in like you're going to knit, and you wrap like you're going to knit, and you pull it through like you're going to knit, but you don't take that off the needle. You leave it on, and then you go into the right side of that. So you see how I'm going around it and into that, and then you put it on the needle. So that's a knitted cast on, and you can look up other YouTube videos about how to do a knitted cast on, and they'll show you a little bit more detail than I am. So far I've cast on 2, and I need 10. So here's 3. Four, and don't pull it too tight. 5. Make sure you get both. Hello, Sandy, you do it right. Just do it that way. There. 6, I think. I can go back here and see. It's easy to count which ones I've done because the yarn is a different color where I start casting on. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. So that's 6. 7. 8. it again. There. So make sure you watch each stitch as you're putting it on. You don't want to get just one of those strands. Make sure you get both. Good. I think I cast on 10. So one way I can know for sure is I know that I had 8 already on the needle, and I need 10 more. So if you didn't change colors like me, you need to do it this way. You can count the 8 and make sure you have 10 more. So 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, and then I should have 10 more here. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10. Yay! I did it right. Woohoo! So now I've got my 10 cast on, and it says knit to the end of the row. So you've just knit those stitches that you just put on. So now we're really knitting again. So we'll knit that. And the reason I like to do the knitted cast on instead of that simple thumb cast on is it just gives it a better edge down here at the bottom. I like the way the edge looks. You can't do a long tail cast on when you're casting on at the beginning of a row because you don't have 2 strands to work with. I mean, you could have done it with these 2 strands, but it would have made a strange looking cast on. It wouldn't have worked well. But I'm sure there are people who have done that. My neighbor just pulled up and he has a loud radio, so if you start hearing a lot of loud noise, you'll know what it is. So aggravated. He is such a noisy guy. Alright, so that's 18. Now, you're ready for the next row. And remember it said cast on 10 stitches for the next 2 rows. So now we've got to cast on 10 again. And remember we had 18 on there before, so now after doing these 10 more, we should have 28. So there's 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8. I just need 2 more. 9, 10. Now I'm ready to knit, but let me double check and make sure I have 28 here. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, 12, 13, 14, 15, 16, 17, 18, 19, 20, 21, 22, 23, 24, 25, 26, 27, 28. Yay! So that is how to cast on 10 stitches at the beginning of the next 2 rounds. And now I need to knit across every bit of this. And before I knit, I'm going to pull through my gray yarn and make sure I have enough. Yeah, I have enough for a whole row. Yay! Always be sure when you're doing scrap yarn like I am, always be sure to check and make sure you have enough to work each row before you work each row, because you don't want to have color changes at the bottom of your shoe. That would not be comfortable under your foot. You want to make sure that your color changes are all at the edges of them, at the beginning or at the end, and that way all of your color changes will take place across this seam right here, and when you weave in your ends, all your ends will be up there. They won't be, you won't have any lumpy spots under your feet. So make sure your color changes all happen at the beginning or at the end of a row. When we first did these 2 rows, we were casting on stitches, so we were actually kind of starting at the middle, but the middle section we were on at the beginning of this row was at the back of the heel, so that's all right. We're fine. I just knocked over a whole bunch of stuff over here. It was funny. Oh man, I always do something crazy. I've got so many things in this little room. Everything's just on top of me. But I'll pick up that stuff after I get finished with this video. It's not that bad. It's just a little pile. The world does not come to an end. Alright, almost done with this row. Yay! Now, when we get to the end of this row, it says to place a marker at the end of the last row. And some people say, well, let's put a marker right here up for that stitch, like one of these markers. Don't do that. That's not the right kind of marker. You need a marker that will hold its place as you keep moving to the next row. So you need a marker like this that has a little lock on it. So put your little marker on that last stitch, just like that. Ta-da! Now we're ready for the next row. So I'll start that in the next video. See you later. Bye!